Obama, Messiah. He walks on water, puts his pants on 2 legs at a time. And if you disagree with him, it's because you're a racist. It's a trifecta. This is our 3rd episode recorded today.
You can scream and shout with all your might.
Oh, you can scream, shout, whine, cry, snivel, piss, and moan, and go hide in your safe space.
Dig in your heels and hold on tight.
You can shove your opinion up your ass. That way Obama's cock has something to keep it company.
Either you are wrong or I am right.
And don't forget the ever-present, the most likely, the 3rd possibility, my friends. You are wrong, and I am right, and you can go fuck yourselves. Oh yes, because I am the great one himself. I am the founder of the Cynical Libertarian Society on the interwebs since 1999. Podcasting for 11 motherfucking years. That's right, you heard me correctly. 11 years of podcasting, and this year is stating the obvious. The weapons platform, which I launched the cruise missile of my intellect. Boy, I fucked that one up. That homes in on and destroy. I've only said this, 272 times or something? It's the cruise missile of my intellect. Homes in on and destroys fucking status. Ah. Ow. Where the hell's my hairbrush? There it is. Yes. So we're in the middle of podcasting, and obviously what's important for me to be doing right this moment is brushing my hair. Actually, I like brushing my hair. It feels good. You know, I understand why chicks like to brush their hair. Good scalp massage. Ah, yes. Hi there, I am the great one himself. Yes, founder of Cynical Libertarian Society, cynlibsoc.com on the interwebs, cynlibsoc on the Twitterverse. In the control room over there is the lovely and adorable Randy, and you can send us email at God, that's dog spelled backwards, God at cynlibsoc.com on the interwebs. And of course you can listen to Stating the Obvious podcast on Stitcher, in addition to getting it right here from the website. It's getting sunshiny outside at least. Still fucking snow everywhere, but sunshiny at least. That's something. This is me fucking with my hot tea. Hang on a second. I have to pull the I have to pull the tea bag out. Oh, tea bag joke. Oh, slap your knee, kiddies. Whoo, tea bag joke. Okay, speaking of jokes, let me get started with this one. Originally, this was going to be my closing piece for this podcast. But after thinking about it, I recognize that this needs to be the opening piece. I'm still reading to you articles from the Colorado State University Collegiate, the student-run newspaper. I got 4 things lined up here. I think I'm going to make it through all 4 of them. Of course, I've had thoughts before that have turned out to be wrong. You know, this is one of those things, I swear to God, I almost feel like I've talked about this shit before. This is the problem. I do show prep, and in my brain, I think about how I'm going to present this on the show. And then I think, then I see it in the pile, and I'm like, didn't I talk about this already? But I didn't talk about this because it's just in the show pile prep. At least that's what I'm hoping. I hope like hell I'm not throwing shit I've already done. So anyhow, maybe I'm repeating myself. I don't fucking know. But then again, I don't care. It's my podcast. I've been doing this for 11 fucking years. I can do whatever I want. What are you going to do? Not listen? I'm not a motherfucking millennial. I don't need a fucking safe space. I don't think you should be forced to listen to my fucking podcast, or else you're hurting my feelings and oppressing me. Anyway, let's get on to hurting some feelings. Polis backpedals after controversial campus rape remarks. Okay. In a controversial comment, Boulder and Larimer County Congressman Jared Polis suggested that colleges should lower the standard of evidence required to expel students who have been accused of sexual assault. Quote, if there are 10 people who have been accused, and under a reasonable likelihood standard, maybe 1 or 2 did it, it seems better to get rid of all 10 people, unquote, Polis said. Okay. Let us do some analysis here. Because again, many of you think that my assertions that the government seeks to create victims is not true. Many of you think my assertion that the state, the corporations, the colleges, the government are seeking to destroy masculinity and men are not true. Here we have a politician, an elected official. There's a picture of him here. He looks like a fucking retard. I mean, seriously, like if you saw this guy walking down the street, he looks, and this is an insult to retarded people. I get that. If I saw this guy walking down the street, I would assume that he had a very low IQ. Let's listen to this for a second. If there are 10 people who have been accused, and under a reasonable likelihood standard, maybe 1 or 2 did it, it's better to get rid of all 10. So we have 10 men accused of rape. It's likely that 1 or 2 of them actually did rape women. According to Jared Polis, a goddamn piece of shit, a liberal Democrat who should be exterminated, you should get rid of all 10 of them. Now, to be clear, and we'll come to this in a minute, when he says get rid, well, no, actually, I need to read this now. This is relevant. Quote, we are not talking about depriving them of life or liberty. We are talking about them being transferred to another university, for crying out loud, unquote, Polis said. Let us look at how this creates victims. Because the stupid people out there, those of you who are statist, who you think the government is here to solve your problems, you're so fucking stupid. You're stupid beyond words. I don't have words to describe how stupid you are. Let's listen to this. We have these 10 men. Let's say 2 of them are actually rapists. We're going to take all 10 of them and transfer them to a different university as a punishment for raping women. 8 of them did not rape women. Do you notice how being innocent until proven guilty is completely thrown aside? Why is that thrown aside? Well, because these men have been accused of rape. And rape is when white women in North America experience discomfort, right? This is the attack on masculinity, to the point that if you're a man, and because women never lie about being raped, if a woman says you raped her, you should be punished even if there's no evidence. Even if they admit there's no evidence and it's likely you didn't do it, because these other 2 men actually did rape women, the 8 men should also be punished. Even though Polis acknowledges in his example they didn't rape any women, they should be punished for raping women for no reason other than the accusation was made. There is no there is no innocent until proven guilty. There's plenty of guilty. If a femistatist cunt accuses you of rape, oh, you're guilty. You are completely guilty. Now, let me just take a moment to bask in my own greatness. You've heard over and over how I have said the state wants to create more victims. Victims need the state. Ah, shit. Hang on a second. Randy, did you turn off the heater? Yep. You did not. No, it's fine. I got it. I left the recording studio and did your job for you. What? Well, yes, I was supposed to turn it off, but I'm not going to take the blame. I'm a man. Hello, have you heard of the patriarchy? It's not my fault. What's that? oh, that's all right. Fine. Just for you, I'm going to go check. And I'm back. Did you miss me? So that was an inside joke. I was supposed to turn off the heater, and I was giving Randy shit for not remembering to turn off the heater, even though it wasn't her job. And then she was giving me shit about when I tried to burn down the studio by leaving the teapot on the burner. And she just asked me, hey, did you take the teapot off the fucking burner? And I was like, I really don't remember. So I went and I checked. I'm not burning down the studio today. Okay. Enough. I know, you guys don't give a shit. You're here to listen to me insult college students. I'm getting there. Hang on. And talk about statism. Okay. I have said, I'm out of breath because I was like running to the kitchen area. I have said the government, the state, not just the government, the what do you call it? Therapy industrial complex, and the corporations and the colleges and the state. Because in the previous couple of episodes, like I talked about all these fucking, where the hell is it? Let me find this. Right, there's all these advocacy centers. Like over here, we've got the Women and Gender Advocacy Center, the 24-hour Victim Assistance Team, the 24-hour Sexual Assault Hotline, right? There's all of these institutions in our society that if people were not being raped, if people were not being traumatized, if people were not feeling discriminated against, if people didn't have mental illnesses, right? If these fucking broken people, if these victims did not exist, all of these agencies and organizations wouldn't exist, and all the people who work for them would have to go get real jobs. Right? If there were no poor people, there would not be a need for a welfare system. If there were no welfare system, all the people who work at the fucking welfare office and the food stamp office and all this other shit, they would have no jobs. The state, the corporations, the government, the colleges, the fucking therapist, they want people to be victims. They want people to be broken. This is why I did an entire podcast called Why the State Wants Women to Be Raped. The state wants women to be raped. If you, listen to me, you dumb femistatist cunt. If you believe that the way to prevent rape involves anything to do with the government, you are wrong. Government does not want to prevent rape. Colorado State University, every other college out there, do not want to prevent rape. Fucking therapists and all these victim advocacy people, they do not want to prevent rape. If they prevent rape, they don't have jobs. They lose their power. You say to me, that's the stupidest thing. You hate women, blah, blah. I know it. Here's the proof. Here's the proof, my friends. Jared Polis. These 10 people, 2 of them are rapists. We have to get rid of them. What is he going to do? Right here. We're not talking about this is the quote, we're not talking about depriving them of life or liberty. We're talking about them being transferred to another university. Jared Polis, his solution to rape, you have these two men, right? There's 10 men, 2 of them are actually rapists. You're going to take the 2 rapists who have raped women at, say, Colorado State University. These 2 men raped women and created victims. He then wants to take these 2 men, transfer them to another college. What do you think they're going to do at the other college? Where they're going to rape women and create more victims. Here it is. Here is a fucking piece of shit, fucking retarded looking Democrat politician admitting we're going to take the rapist and send them to a different college campus. The point of that being so that they will rape more women and create more victims. Why are we not depriving them of life and liberty? Because, as I have said, if you are not a victim or a victimizer, you don't serve the state. Rapists serve the state. Rapists are victimizers. They create victims who then become dependent upon the state. Yeah, you can tell me I'm wrong all you want. Here's a fucking politician that you cocksuckers elected, thank you democracy, admitting that the solution to rapist is to send the rapist to a different college. If I had in my possession a vial that contained a virus that would kill every human on the planet Earth, and all I had to do was break the glass, I would jump up and down on top of it. You people are so fucking dumb. How this species has managed to survive this long. And I know the answer because the species hasn't been this stupid until just recently. Not, geologically speaking. Despite initial support from audience members, Polis received backlash from critics. In response, the congressman released an explanatory essay Tuesday calling his commentary a, quote, major gaffe, unquote. The essay issued an apology for speaking too hastily. Quote, I went too far by implying that I support expelling innocent students from college campuses, which is something neither I nor other advocates of justice for survivors of sexual assault support. That is not what I meant to say, and I apologize for my poor choice of words. Notice he's apologizing for saying that the innocent students should be expelled. There's no apology for saying that the rapist should be sent to another campus where they have a new batch of women to rape. How stupid are you fucking feminist cunts? The answer is, you're very, very stupid. You are so fucking... That's why you're a feminist cunt. You can't be a fucking femistatist cunt and be smart at the same time. According to Colorado State University's Women and Gender Advocacy Center, which wouldn't exist if women didn't get raped, less than 2% of reported sexual assaults are false. That is a lie. We all know that's a lie. It's more like 2% of reported sexual assaults are true. No, most reported sexual assaults are false. In addition, the WGAC claims that the traumatic nature of reporting a sexual assault would lead most people away from falsely reporting as a form of revenge. Bullshit. There is no traumatic nature to reporting that you have been raped. When you go up and you say that you've been raped, you get attention, you get people giving you stuff, you have all this. It's just, again, women. What drives women? What have I said before? If a woman is not receiving attention, she doesn't exist. This is why selfies. This is why Instagram. This is why Snapchat. Women constantly need attention. When you go to the fucking Women's Advocacy and Gender Association or whatever the fuck it is, and you say, I've been raped, you have so much attention heaped upon you. There is nothing traumatic about accusing somebody who didn't rape you of raping you in order to get revenge. And again, notice the solution. Take the rapist. If rape is such a terrible thing, why would you transfer the rapist to another fucking college? Think about this. Say you have a white police officer and he goes into Harlem. Where's Harlem? Is Harlem in New York? Where? No, wait. Where? He goes into the black part of town, by that I mean where black people live, in New York, and he shoots 10 black people. So what's the solution? Well, let's transfer him to the Chicago Police Department. I mean, does that make any fucking sense? Not to a smart person, it doesn't. But if you're a femistatist cunt, this makes total sense. Well, let's take the rapist. Because we know they've been accused of rape. We know they're rapists. Because women never make up being raped. I've covered this extensively in the past. Women, yeah, and of course there's back in the day, I remember this was great, when at UNC, University of Northern Colorado, at one time there were 2 rapes like right next to each other, and one of them was obviously false because the woman said that she was pulled into some bushes on this side of a building. I went over there and there weren't any bushes there. And then the other one admitted she was false. Her lie was that a black man, it's always a black man. Notice again, I've talked about this, about how women have rape fantasies even though they try to deny it. You know, in their rape fantasies, it's usually getting raped by a black man. That's a fucking white woman fantasy. So this girl said she was on the UNC parking lot and this black man came out of the back of a van and grabbed her and pulled her into the back of the van and raped her. And then later on, it turned out that she actually didn't get raped at all. There was no black guy. There was no van. She had sex with her boyfriend, and she was scared she was going to get pregnant. And so she told her parents that she had been raped in order to cover it up. Right. So no, women do invent being raped. This notion that women do not lie about being raped, again, you have to be stupid to believe this. This notion that women are incapable of lying. And that reporting you have been raped is not traumatic. It makes you a fucking hero. It gives you shit tons of attention. Government solution. Send the rapist to another campus. Yes. All right. Speaking of rape, Tony Frank. For those of you who don't know who Tony Frank is, and you shouldn't, Tony Frank is the president of Colorado State University. And Tony Frank is, I'm just going to say this in case it ever comes true. You know how when you look at people, and I think I've said this before on the cast, you know when you look at people and you just get impressions of them? When I see Tony Frank, there's something in the back of my brain, down in the lizard section, that just says to me, this guy has sex with little boys. There's just something about him that screams pedophile. Now, Tony Frank has a beard. And here at Colorado State University, all of the many females at the collegiate want to have sex with Tony Frank and are always talking about his beard. This is like an ongoing thing in the collegiate. They don't actually say they want to have sex with him, but it's pretty obvious what's going on because Tony Frank's beard is all these art. Oh, Tony Frank. Oh, Tony Frank. Oh, Tony Frank's beard. Oh, Tony Frank's beard is so hot. The coolest thing on campus is Tony Frank's beard. It's a little weird. Honestly, it's a little fucking weird. So Tony Frank in addition to projecting the aura of a pedophile, is big on sexual assault. This is his thing, man. He just cannot stop, accusing all men alive of being rapists and pandering to the femistatist cunts that actually run Colorado State University. I have 3 articles here in which Tony Frank panders to femistatist cunts. So let's get going. Tony Frank covers sexual assault student debt at fall address. At the annual fall address and picnic, Colorado State University President Tony Frank focused on university pride, including how well he believes the university's Reframe program tackles the issue of sexual assault. This is what we're leading with. This is the most important thing to students at Colorado State University. Not their student debt, not are they going to be able to get a job, but sexual assault. This is the number one important thing at the university. The president told the crowd that sexual violence is a male issue and that men can end it. Of course, because women can't do anything about being raped. Why is that? Say it with me, kids. You've heard me say it enough times. Because women are objects, not agents. Women do not have any ability to control what happens to them. This is why women shouldn't have jobs. Because if women can't control their environment, if women can't control what happens to them, why would you give a woman a job that has any level of responsibility? She has no control. She has to have, if for a woman to not get raped, it requires men to not rape them. Women can't learn self-defense. Women can't not get drunk at a party with a bunch of strangers. Women can't do anything at all to prevent themselves from being raped. They are completely helpless. And yet, they're equal. They can join the military, they can be police officers, they can be firemen, they can climb the fucking ladder and pick up a grown man, throw him over their shoulder, and climb down the ladder with him because they're strong and independent, and anything a man can do, a woman can do better, but they can't prevent themselves from being raped. Quote, sexual violence is about tearing down, and it has no place at CSU. Unquote, Frank said. His speech turned to a call to action when he told his audience to end sexual violence, not in years to come, not tomorrow, but today. Yeah, see, we're just going to, boom, it's ended. Well, there it is. See, Tony Frank, he has a beard and everything. Tony Frank has called for an end to sexual violence. There is no more sexual violence. It's done. It's finished. He called for an end to it. It's finished. No more sexual violence. Quote, one of the reasons I think it's so great that Dr. Frank is talking about Reframe at this particular event is because there's so many staff and faculty that come to this event, said Monica Rivera, an assistant director at the Women and Gender Advocacy Center. Do you notice how every fucking article I've read in the last 3 podcasts from the Collegian has the fucking Women and Gender Advocacy Center in it? Again, this is just women getting attention. This is her just getting attention. That's all that's happening here. Quote, sometimes we can put a lot of pressure on students and the student body to shift culture, but there's a lot of things that we can do as staff, faculty, advisors, mentors to help create a less victim-blaming culture on campus, unquote. Rivera went on to describe that a lack of support for survivors can lead to a retention problem. When students are not given the help they need, they leave the school. Retention rates are something that Frank wants to keep up. Oh my God, yeah, there's just no fucking support for all of these women who are talking about how every time a man looks at them, they get raped. No, there's no support whatsoever. Well, let's see. So if you accuse men of raping you, you have Jared Polis saying that even if there's no evidence they raped you, they should be transferred to another school. Yeah, sounds to me like you're getting no support whatsoever. Whew, must be really rough. Let me do this one next. This is from an interview with Tony Frank, because Tony Frank has a beard, and his beard is so cool. All right, here's the question. The annual safety report just got sent out. The number of sexual assaults increased, and the majority of those were in residence halls. Do you think the university is doing enough to support sexual assault victims, specifically in resident halls? Now, notice the question. Do you think the university is doing enough to support victims? What have I said about victims? The need for victims. Is the university doing enough to support the victims? Have you hired enough therapists? Do you have enough advocacy center employees? Yada, yada, yada. But notice this. The report has come out. The number of sexual assaults increased on CSU campus. There's more sexual assaults on campus. And the majority were in the residence halls. Again, so what you're saying to me is that CSU campus is becoming a place where women get raped to a greater extent than in the past. And the place women are most likely, I want to say most likely because I'm trying to be accurate, the number of sexual assaults increased, and the majority of the increase in the sexual assaults were in the resident halls. The resident halls are buildings entirely controlled by CSU. What you're saying to me is that CSU is a place where women are likely to be raped. What if you had, I don't know, what if you did something to prevent people from being raped in the first place? The question is not, what are you doing to prevent rape? The question is, what are you doing to support the victims? Do you notice the emphasis is on supporting the victims? There's no emphasis on preventing them from being victimized. Why? Because the state needs victims. This includes the media. You're trying to sell a newspaper. Okay? Nobody buys a newspaper with good news. But if a woman gets raped, and better yet, if she's young and pretty, and you put her picture on the front page, you sell newspapers. And again, if colleges are people or places, colleges are not people, corporations are people, the Supreme Court said so. It must be true. If colleges are places where women get raped, why do women keep paying money to go there? Anyway, here's Tony Frank's answer. We are clearly not doing enough because sexual assaults are still going on. Well, you're the president of the university. If the university's not doing enough, whose fault is that? Oh, that's right. It's the patriarchy's fault. We are actually a national leader in the things that we are doing. Okay. CSU is a national leader in the things they're doing, but they're not doing enough. Makes total sense to me. Those may sound like paradoxical responses, but I think they are both true. Well, you're a fucking idiot. This is another one of those issues, much like gender equality, salary. Much like gender equity, that's why it didn't make sense. Much like gender equity salary, there is no pay gap, we've covered that before, where it is clearly a societal issue. No, it's not a societal issue, it's a statist issue. It cuts across every aspect of our society, and yet I don't think that excuses from us in any way, shape, or form from saying, all right, it's a challenging problem, it is daunting, it is difficult. People who care a lot about it have waded into the topic and tried, and the problem is still there. Yes, the problem is still there because there are a lot of people who make money from the problem. Until you get rid of the people who make money from people being raped, you're not going to eliminate rape. Especially, again, remember, when I say rape, I'm including all of this, a man looked at me, or I got drunk and had sex with this guy, and a month later I decided I didn't want to have sex with him. Right? That when I say rape, I don't mean real, actual rape. I mean this concept that everything and anything can be rape. Reason, it's just like crime. Why is crime going up? Well, you pass more laws, you make more things illegal, you get more crime. The more things you define as rape, the more rape is going to occur because more things are going to fall into that category. The problem is driven by factors that are society-wide and beyond something we can just say, okay, we are just going to stop this. Hold it! Hold it! What do you mean we can't say, okay, we're going to stop this? Right here. Tony Frank, sexual assault, fall address, quote, 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 quote. Where the fuck is it? Is call to action, where he told his audience to end sexual violence not in years to come, not tomorrow, but today. Right here, Tony Frank is saying that I'm going to give a call to action. We're going to end sexual assault today. And now he says, quote, okay, we are just going to stop. Blah, 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 blah. Then he says the problem is driven by factors society-wide and beyond something where we can just say, okay, we are just going to stop this. Well then, at your fall address, why did you say that we're going to stop sexually assaulting people today? Oh, that's right, because you have a beard and because all the little college girls at the collegiate want to have sex with you. Except you're too busy hanging out with little boys in the shower. Oh, did I say? Again, look, I don't have proof. I'm not saying he's a pedophile. I don't have evidence. I'm just saying he radiates it. And I need to say this on the podcast because if it's ever revealed that Tony Frank is a pedophile, if it happens, I'm not saying it will. If it ever happens, it's going to be one of the greatest days of my life. Because I called it. All of those things are true and none of them matter. So here you go. This is intellectual. All these things are true, but they don't matter. Okay. 2 plus 2 is 4. That's true, but it doesn't matter. No, I'm afraid it does. When you say shit like, these things are true, but they don't matter, you might be a fucking moron. None of them excuse us in any way of thinking from saying we have an absolute responsibility to do everything we can to make sure this campus is as safe as possible for every student. Okay, sure. You have probably heard that start to be reflected in the things I have started to... Jesus Christ, this man can't fucking talk. Although he's probably writing these. You have probably heard that start to be reflected in the things I have started to say about this topic. So rape is really important, and maybe you've started to hear that reflected in the things I have started to say about... Well, god damn, dude. It doesn't sound like it's very important to me. I think the data are really clear. You mean the data is really clear? I think the data are really clear. Sexual violence and violence in general are male issues. Yet again, women not responsible. Women have nothing to do with whether or not they get raped. Women have nothing to do... Again, the first time your boyfriend hits you... Because now we're talking about not just rape, we're talking about violence. The first time your boyfriend hits you, it's his fault. The second time your boyfriend hits you, it's your fault. Right? Remember, women had nothing to do with the way all of these rapist, violent men were raised. None of these rapist, violent men had mothers. None of these violent, rapist men went to public school where almost all of the teachers were female. Right? Women just have nothing to do with anything in our society or anything that happens to them. The fact that every heterosexual white man who has a job is a rapist, this has nothing to do with women at all. None of these heterosexual white men with jobs who want to beat up and rape women, none of them had mothers. None of them went to public school and had female teachers. None of them were in daycare where they were surrounded by women. No, women have nothing to do. Again, When I say women are objects, not agents, you can. You can disagree, but the evidence is on my side. Here's Tony Frank right now saying that this is a male issue. This fucking use of the word issue, this is something women do. He's saying, when he says that sexual violence and violence in general are male issues, what he's saying is that only men can change this. Why is it that only men can change this? Because only men are agents. Women are objects. Everything about this entire concept about men being to blame for rape is denying women their agency, which they don't have anyway. Okay, fine, 98%. Once we solve that 98%, I'll worry about the other two. I'm not even really sure what the fuck that means. But the people who can change the culture that influences how young men are brought up and how they think about these things, probably more effectively than anything else, is the peer culture of other men. Again, so who is it who can most effectively influence men? Well, it's not women. It's not, Tony Frank right here admits, it's not their mothers. Their mothers can't do anything about it. The women in the daycare can't do anything. The women in public school can't do anything about it. The women who are teachers at women can't do anything about the way men think. Women cannot influence men at all because women are objects, not agents. The only thing that can influence men is other men. Why is that? Because Tony Frank knows and admits, even though he's a fucking femistatist, faggot cunt, child molester, he knows and admits that men are agents, women are objects. It is past time for us to pretend this isn't our issue. It is the time for all of us to stand up and say the attitudes that have existed and have allowed this problem to fester and continue to affect and infect our society and our half of the population are our attitudes. Again, it's all because of men. It's all the patriarchy. We can, in fact, fix those. We can, in fact, change a collective expectation of how we are going to behave. Yes, we can, in fact, overcome millions of years of evolution in which when men have been attracted to women and want to have sex with them, with some political correctness and some more laws and some societal conditioning, we can overcome that. I tend to think the recent uptick in reporting is actually a good sign because I think, so more rapes is a good sign. Here we go. More women getting raped is a good thing because I think that the incident rate has always been that high, and what we are seeing now are better reporting systems, a greater awareness, greater comfort level, a greater understanding on behalf of women. This is not something I need to be ashamed of. Again, then again, it's the female psyche. If a man rapes you, why would you be ashamed? If it's a legitimate, again, you're walking down the street corner and a man jumps out and pulls you into an alley and rapes you, you have nothing to be ashamed of. The reason women are ashamed of reporting rape is because they didn't get raped. I hope we are making progress in all of these areas, and if that is true, then we can expect, given these crimes are underreported, to see them go up. We should also hope that the total incident rate that is hard for us to... We should also hope that the total incident rate that is hard for us to know is coming down. So we should hope that this unknown incident rate, this unknown number of rapes, let's hope that it's going down. Well, that's going to do that. Let's hope. Well, it's the Obama plan, right? Hope? All right, article number 3. Tony Frank and his beard. It's on us. Fort Collins, first city to adopt national campaign to prevent sexual assault. Oh my goodness, we're the first city, Fort Collins. It's so glorious to live in the People's Republic of Fort Collins. We are the first city that's ever tried to prevent sexual assault. And you know how we're doing this? Here in Fort Collins, we are preventing sexual assault because we have some posters. I've seen some of them around town. It's posters. We printed some ink on a piece of paper, and then we put them up in windows. And holy shit, we are preventing sexual assault. You people are so fucking delusional. The idea, again, okay, so there's this evil, racist, sexist, homophobic white guy with a job who likes girls, and he's from the South, of course. He's from Louisiana. And so he has a gap between his teeth, and he's a hillbilly redneck because he's right. So this evil, fucking hate-filled, racist, sexist, homophobic white man from Louisiana, he's walking down the street. And he's thinking, man, you know what? I'm going to go rape me a woman. I haven't had any sex in a couple of days. I'm going to find some woman and I'm going to fucking rape her. And then he sees a poster. And it's this poster right here. You can't see it, but I've got the picture of it. And it says, "It's on us." And it's got a picture of Tony Frank, and he's got his beard. And his arms are crossed. And he's got this little kind of pedophile-looking smile on his face. And it says, "Dr. Tony Frank, President, Colorado State University, father of 3, Cubs fan." And you see this picture of Tony Frank, and it says, "It's on us." And suddenly, the racist, sexist, homophobic white man from Louisiana who's going to rape a woman, suddenly he says, "Wow, I don't think I'm going to rape women anymore. I've just suddenly become enlightened. I've realized how wrong it is to rape. I'm never going to rape a woman again." A fucking piece of paper doesn't stop people from raping. It doesn't. Fucking Christ, you people are so fucking stupid. You're so fucking stupid. It's on us to stop sexual assault. This message has been spread throughout the nation as part of a campaign to raise awareness and empower bystanders to step in and prevent sexual assault. Fort Collins has partnered with Colorado State University and, the Sexual Assault Victim Advocacy Center and other organizations to become the first city to be nationally recognized as an It's on Us community. The effort was spearheaded by Council Member Gino Campana, whoever gives a shit, who said that he was alarmed by the number of recorded sexual assaults he was seeing in Fort Collins. There were over 850 cases recorded in 2014. So that means there were about maybe 20 that were legitimate. Quote, "We as a community are taking responsibility and feeling empowered to make a difference with regard to sexual assault. It's time to step up and address the issue," unquote, Campera said. Oh, we're feeling empowered in our safe spaces. As a big part of the campaign is spreading awareness. Oh, it's all about spreading that awareness. The city has started a poster campaign for It's on Us, and will be putting 20 different posters with 20 community members in order to raise awareness. One of the posters displays CSU President Tony Frank. Aww. Quote, "CSU is proud to support the city of Fort Collins in becoming the first It's on Us community in the country." And I was... sometimes being the first is not a good thing. And I was the first Jew to be gassed at the concentration camp. Well, lucky you. And I was happy to show that support by joining their poster campaign. CSU has been part of It's On Us since its inception because we all have a role to play in stopping sexual assault and interpersonal violence on college campuses. With our own college reframe initiatives and the leadership of our students, we're sending a strong message that this is everyone's issue, that CSU cares, and that we all need to step up and demand change, unquote, Frank said. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay, listen to this. We are sending a strong message. This is everyone's issue. Now, right over here, Tony Frank says, let me find it. I'm trying to find it. The people who can change the culture influences young men are probably more effective. Is there peer culture? It's time for us to stop pretending. Tony Frank first says this is a man's. Where the fuck is the actual quote where he says this is a male issue? Where I fucking lost it. I have too many fucking quotes here. Randy, we may have to go over. Yes, the president told the crowd sexual violence is a male issue and men can end it. So wait, sexual violence is a male issue, but here he says that this is everyone's issue. Now wait, I know you have a beard, but is it a male issue or is it everyone's issue? This is all just psychobabble. This is all just Tony Frank being a goddamn woman just looking for attention. Oh look, my picture's on a poster. I'm a fucking woman. Even though I have a beard, I just want attention. No, is it everyone's issue? Listen, we all have a role to play in stopping sexual assault. No. Right here. Blah, 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 blah. The president told the crowd that sexual violence is a male issue. Is it a male issue or not? It's either a male issue or it's everyone's issue. Which is it, Tony? Which is having sex with all those little boys fucking confusing your brain cells? What's going on, Tony? The Reframe Initiative has been working to spreading the conversation. That's what it says. The Reframe Initiative has been working to spreading the conversation on sexual assault throughout the CSU campus. CSU Women and Gender Advocacy Center Director Kathleen Cisneros said the two campaigns work well together. Of course they do. Randy, hold the fucking closing music because we're going to wrap this up. Quote, Reframe resonates here on campus, but students function off campus as well as on campus. So It's On Us is a nice bridge to the Fort Collins community. They complement one another, Cisneros said. The Fort Collins SAVA Center, whatever that is, sexual assault, I'm sure, Center will be doing much of the work to implement the It's On Us campaign to the city. To spread the message, Executive Director Jennifer Jones-McCrowski said a different strategy will be taken with different sectors of the community. Quote, we want to reach the entire community in a way that makes sense to what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. For instance, we want to work with the bar and restaurant community and hold a training session so that they have a better idea on how to deal with sexual harassment that goes on in bars and restaurants. Because God forbid you talk to a woman in a bar because now that's sexual harassment. McQuarski, or whatever the fuck her name is, also said that the SAVA hopes to work with teachers in the Poulder School District to help them identify uncomfortable situations in classrooms. Yes, here's another excuse to be told that your male children have personalities and need to be put on medication to dumb them down. Your child was talking to a girl and he tried to hold her hand. We need to get him on medication right away because he could be a rapist. The campaign's main idea is to spread the conversation beyond just victims of sexual assault and put responsibility on the entire Fort Collins community. We need to empower the bystander, Campera said. If you see something that is inappropriate, step in and do something. We've all been in situations that were awkward. I'm also sick of the word awkward. That's another fucking word that women use. It's right up there with issues. This is awkward. No, you're just a fucking dumb whore who doesn't have any social skills. It's not awkward. You're just fucking socially retarded. When you saw that something was going on but didn't think it was your business, it is your business. This is your community and you should step up and intervene. No, sometimes it's actually not your fucking business. Randy, hit the music. Alright, 3 episodes in one day. I think it's time to move on to other things that need to be done.